Hello, everyone. My name is Fred, and welcome to Off the Mark. And I'd just like to say that this is our first episode, or technically, should it be called episode 0?
Yeah,
Like
it's
patient
definitely
0.
called episode 0.
Yeah. And I am joined by my co-star and fellow podcast friend. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, it's Luke. Oh, this is good fun.
Yeah.
I'm the one editing this, so cool.
I'm just the one who chats a load of bollocks and gets right into it.
I've been told my laugh is not very pleasant to listen to, so I will lean back.
My laugh is a little bit worse. Not gonna lie, my laugh is a bit worse because I generally I laugh in so many different ways. Like my laugh will just go on and on and on. Like if I find something funny, then it will just go on.
My laugh is quite I think the word is breathy. It's like it's more breath than it is noise. It's like squeaks and breath.
Yeah.
You may know me from such podcasts as the Super Friends of Media and Recently Logged. Please invite me back. Yeah.
And
link to Recently Logged is below. I was on a podcast with them pretty recently, and that is definitely linked below if I've remembered.
What isn't going to be linked below, or might be, is my YouTube channel. I don't know if anyone who is listening to this knows. I start in a YouTube channel called Freddie Gardiner. That's my personal channel on YouTube where I do videos, vlogs, and stuff. And if any of you want to go over there, then please do. It depends on if Luke is going to put it into the description or something.
I will.
Yes.
Same with my personal. It's Luke. You're seeing the logo right now. That's what the logo is. Thanks, Micah. He made this.
And then mine's just of me with a mask on.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. All links below. Anyway.
Let's get right into this.
Let's get right into the no.
5 million subscribers. I don't know. So the whole purpose of this is to discuss news that's going on in the media. So this could be comic book, or
films,
TV, all that fun stuff, all that jazz. All that.
Also, we'll be having alternate weeks, which will be off weeks, in which we talk about whatever we want to. That will allow news to stack up, and then we'll actually have a full news show each week, or every other week, and we'll have something, maybe a review or something like that, on the alternate weeks. Be it Star Wars, CW, Marvel, DC, I don't know. It is whatever we choose it to be. It's where we have full creative control.
All right.
Sorry.
Just as a disclaimer to anyone watching this, we are big fans of the sci-fi fantasy genre. I would like to call myself an uber nerd at times. I don't know about you, Luke. I don't know about you. I don't know about you.
I'll probably take that title as well.
I'm uber nerd, man. Like Uber Jason, apart from not in space and better quality.
And I don't understand that reference. So.
Oh, you've never seen Jason X, have you?
Yeah.
Oh,
whatever. So this week is an off week because it's episode 0 and there is Arsenal news this week.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the Snyder Cut.
Woo! I've been waiting for that for so long.
Goody.
Yeah.
He's incredibly passionate about this. I'm somewhat. Which will probably show in our performances.
Because I have a lot of energy and a lot of stuff to talk about this.
good, because this room is incredibly hot.
So is
And
mine.
I'm dying.
When I'm sleeping at night in my bed, I have to just take off my duvet and just lie there as it's blazing hot. Not gonna lie, the entire house is so cold, but my room is so warm, and the radiator is not even on. I get a fan, still warm. I'm like,
Uh,
am I slowly dying inside?
yeah, it's incredibly hot. Yeah, everywhere you go, can't avoid it.
It's like the fires of hell are raging inside my stomach. Oh wait, no, that's just diarrhea.
Anywho, the Snyder Cut.
Yeah. One of the most interesting and controversial things in film history.
Yes. And if I remember rightly, it's the most talked about Warner Brothers film this year, and it's not even out.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because with the Snyder Cut, you have so many different elements of was it real, was it not, was it real, was it not, and like you have so many people like questioning whether or not they believe it or not.
I mean, so we always knew there was an assembly cut. That was undeniable. And so and the assembly cut was quote unquote unwatchable by test audiences in April before the film's released. But I think a lot of people, because the Snyder Cut, I don't think many people were entirely sure what it actually was, because Snyder had an original plan prior to BVS's pretty bad backlash.
Yeah.
And that was the one he really wanted. That's how he wrote BVS to be. And that's the film that was never even shot. That film was never shot because he wasn't allowed to do it. So that's what a lot of people thought the Snyder Cut was, and that's why it didn't exist. But Snyder obviously still made a lot of Justice League, and his version of Justice League isn't going to be too far from what we got, but it's going to be a bit more packed. And
so I don't know. I don't know if you know about this, but obviously, have you seen the film Justice League Dark Apocalypse War yet?
oh yes, I have. That's so bad.
That, do you know that was originally that was based off of like what Zack Snyder had in mind for one of the next Justice League films.
Yeah, glad we didn't get that.
But I found it interesting because obviously that story is the Justice League going to Apocalypse, taking the fight, and then just losing.
Yeah, that film was so horrific in gruesomeness as well as quality that I can't. I can't watch it. It was so unnecessarily disgusting.
Right.
It's just I can't stand it. I watched it once. I'm done.
Yeah, I think it's just weird because obviously linking that back to what the Snyder Cut could be like is interesting because in my point of view, there are so many elements about the Snyder Cut that we've all heard of, and I quite like them. Like obviously, we would have had we would have seen new characters introduced, a lot more character development, and there's a specific thing that I am going to talk about in a bit, which you probably might know what it is about, but I'll leave it for a little bit, and then I will get to it in a bit.
I mean, yeah. But so it's undecided whether it's going to be a 6-part miniseries or one big film. I think they will probably release it as a 6-part miniseries. Do you want to know why?
What's that?
Because monetarily it makes sense. If you release 6 parts over the course of 6 weeks, that's people at least paying for 2 months of your subscription service. That you're getting in for 2 months. Someone who just gets HBO Max for a month and then deletes it and then gets rid of it, ends their subscription after a month because they've seen the Snyder Cut now. Goody. They'll only pay for 1 month. So it guarantees you 2 months from people who want to watch Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
Instead of 1. And then if you add the Ayer cut, if you begin, or if you have the Ayer cut the month after the Snyder Cut finishes, there's 3 months in there for you. And that's the smartest thing you can do monetarily. And the Ayer cut would not be more than one thing.
Here's the thing. With the Ayer cut, it's interesting because David Ayer has already said that he is literally he's basically nearly finished with it because he already has all of it.
Oh yeah, everything was shot, and a lot of it was done because the final film was a lot his, but it was rejumbled into a mess. And I think HBO Max have been responding to people on Twitter who ask about the Ayer cut. And I'd imagine we'll probably get it within a couple of months of the Snyder Cut. They might leave people hanging for a month or 2 after the Snyder Cut. Or maybe
here's the thing.
The announcement will come with the Ayer cut. But...
Yeah. Here's the interesting thing. We have got so many things linking Suicide Squad and Justice League together. One of the newest things, have you seen the newest drawing that was done for Justice League?
No, I haven't.
So Zack Snyder, so you know that he has these box drawings for scenes?
Yeah.
And he had one for Dark Side of Wonder Woman, talking about him, one of Martian Manhunter revealing himself. Now here's the interesting thing. Guess what the new one is?
Go on.
It's of the nightmare scene from Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
So we would have gotten another scene similar to that of the Flash running to the future to see what it would have been like.
Yeah.
And here's the interesting thing. Guess what we would have seen? I generally would have loved to have seen this. Ben Affleck's Batman and Jared Leto's Joker fighting parademons together on a apocalyptic Earth.
Oh yeah, could you find that for me and send that to me?
I'll see if I can find that. But I was looking at it, I was thinking, wow, I actually want to see this scene because here's the interesting thing: we never saw Jared Leto and Ben Affleck's Batman. We never saw Batman and Joker interact with each other. We had them both.
He was on top of the car.
Yeah, we had them both in Suicide Squad, but never actually interact.
Yeah, they've never interacted. I think they've probably, because there's so many ties. There was lots of. I seem to remember there being lots of mentions to parademons and things like that in Suicide Squad, and in what Ayer wanted to do. And I think it makes a lot of sense to release the Ayer cut maybe a couple of weeks before the Snyder Cut, and then it goes in smoothly.
Because here's the interesting thing. So the original plot of Suicide Squad was Enchantress was summoning Steppenwolf and the parademons to Earth, and that's what led on to Justice League.
Yeah.
And it would have been parademons coming through, foot soldier parademons, without the wings.
Yeah.
And them coming through, fighting the squad, and them being too late, and Enchantress activating the mother boxes and summoning Steppenwolf to come to Earth.
Yeah. It would have tied it in better. Because it also kind of would have given Batman a purpose. I mean, obviously catching the Joker, but sort of Batman being around the scene, Batman being in it, would make a bit more sense if there were ties to Justice League.
Yeah. It's interesting because not gonna lie, in Justice League, there are certain characters that we were meant to see but never got to. And there's a number of them. One of them is obviously, like I've mentioned before, Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
And I think that there would have been. I think they all would have had a thing where he obviously knows what's coming, and he thinks to himself, "They have just defeated Steppenwolf," and they are probably going to need more help. So he gives his assistance to them because he knows who Darkseid is and what he can do.
Yeah.
So I would like to have seen that.
Talking of Darkseid, that picture was coolish.
I like Doglight. I think it's interesting because I don't know if you know this, but if you look at the trailer, if you look at the trailer, the original trailer for Justice League, where it's got that scene where like Steppenwolf comes to Earth to fight like the Atlanteans, the Amazons, and the humans.
Yeah.
So if you look at the trailer, you can actually see Darkseid.
Hold on, I'm actually looking at the trailer right now. I got it up while you were talking about that.
So the normal trailer, you can actually see someone like the scene where like an Amazon is like standing up on her horse and is about to jump off. If you look in the left-hand corner, you can see someone with a spear, and apparently
Yeah.
that's Darkseid, who has just landed on the ground and ready to fight. And then in the actual film, they removed him from that scene because we would have seen Darkseid just land down and then just start decimating like hundreds of people in one swipe.
Yeah.
And obviously, this is interesting because Darkseid would have had two different outfits inside of the film, and obviously one of them is what we see in the new picture, which is him where like he's not really wearing anything on his chest.
Well, he's not called Darkseid at this point, is he? He's got his name, Free New God.
Yeah, no, I can't. Not gonna lie, I cannot remember what his name is.
I can't. No. I will Google it in a minute. But I'm currently looking at the trailer for Justice League.
Because obviously in the comics, you know that Steppenwolf is Darkseid's uncle.
Yeah.
And obviously Steppenwolf is Darkseid's general and leads his army. So it's interesting because from what I've seen, like Steppenwolf's armor has like that it has like that zigzag like mosaic pattern to it.
Yeah.
Imagine seeing what Darkseid's full body armor would look like with that, because I think that would be really cool.
Oh, I've just found the scene you're talking about.
Yeah.
I will.
But it would have been interesting because I very much like Darkseid and how he is in the comics, and from the way that the actor who is playing him, Ray Porter, because recently Ray Porter was, I think it was either recently or a while ago, he was on a podcast and he was talking to them about how what his role as Darkseid was in the Snyder Cut, and the really cool thing is the fact that he gave a teaser of what he would have sounded like.
Yeah.
And
I haven't seen that.
That would have been, yeah. Like if you look up Ray Porter, Ray Porter Darkseid podcast, I think he gives like a bit of a teaser of what his voice sounds like, and someone took what he was saying and then amplified it to sound like really deep and gravelly.
Yeah.
And edited it to a scene of like Cyborg looking into the mother boxes and him saying, "I am death, I am entropy," and stuff. And I thought it was quite cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen the scene you're talking about. Yeah, I think you can just about make him out.
Yeah.
I couldn't guarantee it's Darkseid, but hey.
I would have been interesting because I would have loved to have seen Darkseid versus Zeus.
Yeah.
Because you would have Darkseid versus Zeus, and then Steppenwolf versus Ares. And,
Yeah.
would have been. I think it would have been like an interesting scene because it would have like because it reminds me quite a lot of like 300 and how Zack Snyder filmed a lot of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, other characters that we would have seen are we would have seen Green Lantern.
Yeah, a Green Lantern.
Yeah,
It wouldn't have been Hal Jordan.
because I'm not. Because have you seen the picture of the guy who apparently was playing Hal Jordan?
No, I haven't.
Not gonna lie, he kind of reminds me of Hal Jordan a bit, like because he looks the part, but obviously I've never seen him in acting wise, so I can't really say whether or not I think, oh yeah, he'd be good as Green
To be
Lantern.
honest, if there was to be a Hal Jordan, which I'm pretty certain there would never have been a Hal Jordan, it would have been, you would have just gotten an actor who would just body double for when you cast him eventually. But I don't think there was any Hal Jordan. I know there's supposed to be those 2 Green Lanterns who show up for Bruce at the end of the film.
Yeah, it's Kilowog and Tamara Ray.
Yes.
Yeah, that's them. Kilowog and Tamara Ray both would come to Bruce and say that something's coming, and obviously they need help finding like a new person to help protect Earth.
I don't know why you'd go to Bruce for that though.
I don't know. I think it's obviously because they've been watching, and they obviously know about him building up the Justice League.
Yeah, but see, I have a problem with Batman creating the Justice League in the first place. I don't get it. I don't think that suits his character at all, really.
Unless they turn around and just say, "Oh, we want you to help us like track down a certain human." And not gonna lie, if they didn't do Hal Jordan, imagine if they turned around and said, "Oh, do you know someone called John Stewart?" I'd be like,
yeah. Or Latino female one. Oh, that sounds so racist.
Jessica Cruz.
Yes, Jessica Cruz.
Jessica Cruz.
I'd be more interested in Jessica Cruz than Hal Jordan or John Stewart.
I think, not gonna lie, you could. There is a storyline where you could do Jessica Cruz, and it's where you have. So have you read the Dark Side War?
No, I haven't. I'm not a big comic reader. I've read bits and pieces, but not that.
So, if you go over, in Dark Side War, basically, the crime syndicate is locked away on Earth.
Yeah.
And Power Ring, basically, escapes from captivity, and Jessica Cruz takes a hold of the ring, and becomes the new Green Lantern.
Yeah.
And I think basically what happens is like she starts killing people and cannot take control of it, and there's a whole weird bunch of stuff. And like if you go into Comic Story and type in Dark Side War, like he's on like a whole playlist of the entire thing, so you will just hear him read it and explain everything.
Oh, cool! I'll give that a listen, but eventually.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, I think on the Snyder Cut topic, just see, I don't think it's gonna be well received at all. I don't think it'll be consistent with DVS and Man of Steel, but again, like WB when they saw the films, they said it was unwatchable. Even if it is 50% better, it's gonna be average. Like,
I think
it'll be fine at best.
I think what will happen is with Justice League, like I don't think you can kind of trust what WB's choices are, because with a lot of like films such as Batman vs Superman, Justice League, and Suicide Squad, they forced the directors to take out like crucial parts which would have kind of helped the film.
Yeah, but this was Snyder's first cut, and they didn't even see promise in it. Like, if they come out and said this is bad, like sure maybe, but unwatchable, I'm not so sure.
Like for the most part, if you look at the Snyder cut, well not the Snyder cut, if you look at Justice League, all of the scenes that were directed originally by Zack Snyder, everyone liked.
Yeah, because it didn't hurt to look at.
Yeah, and then when it was the
You-
Joss
you look
Whedon
at-
scenes, such as Batman joking or laughing, then that's kind of what people are like, oh, I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. I think people like the Snyder scenes because they're Snyder scenes. Like the problems with those films go deeper than just Joss.
Yeah.
Like I don't think Joss is. It's not Joss's fault by any stretch. I don't say.
I think, like, not gonna lie, there was one thing, and I think it was the fact that Joss Whedon was trying to make it too much like the Avengers.
See, I don't think he was trying to do that. I think he was told to do that.
But
I don't think Whedon had any power whatsoever. Really.
Yeah. Because, not gonna lie, DC can obviously stand on its own because it's stand on its own for many years without trying to copy Marvel.
Yeah, but also the MCU. Also, they want what the MCU has: a universe where you can, where you've got all these characters that people can get invested in over the course of 8-9 films. And I think the way Marvel has done their mainline superhero universe is great. But I think if DC were to do the same, but instead of 3 films a year, they did two in the mainline continuity and then one Elseworlds thing each year.
That's the interesting thing, because they've announced that they are going to be doing as many films as Marvel is, because they've decided that they want to get everything back on track, and they're going to be taking their own route and diving more into what they can do rather than what Marvel does.
I think the best way of going about it is just mix standalone with.
Yeah. Like, here's the thing, like, films that were shelved, like, such as the Batgirl and Deathstroke films, obviously.
Yeah, neither of them are happening.
Neither of them have literally, like, not gonna lie, I looked at a thing, and Gareth Evans, who was meant to be directing, I think it's Gareth Evans or someone, who's meant to be directing the Deathstroke film, he said that the project has been shelved until someone comes along and decides to pick it up, or unless he regains interest.
Yeah, I'm not sure Deathstroke's happening.
I would love it to happen because he's.
I'd love it to happen, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think Deathstroke has the full power of other characters.
Okay. Now this will actually tie into the thing that I really want to talk about. You obviously know that Joe Manganiello, who betrayed Deathstroke, who betrayed Deathstroke in Justice League, and probably the most intimidating and well casted character. I'm not gonna lie, I think they couldn't find anyone else who is as perfect.
No, he is the best.
As him. Like, I looked at a thing, found out that he is exactly on point. Like, he's the same weight as Deathstroke in the comics. He's the same height as Deathstroke in the comics, and like, he looks amazing in the suit.
Age, he's a bit young, but.
Well, not gonna lie,
but that's not a bad thing. Deathstroke being young is not a bad thing.
Well, if you think about this,
he will age.
Like Deathstroke in the comics, he is probably in his 40s and
50s, let's say.
No. So when he had the experiment done, he was in his like late 30s, and obviously with the look of him, he looks a lot older, doesn't he? Because he's got all the grey and white hair.
If you know, by the time the Deathstroke film happens, he might be in his 50s.
Mm-hmm.
It probably will be. Let's be honest. That film's not happening at all.
But here's the interesting thing: the tweet that he put out, which is the actual end credit scene. I was excited for that because I'm thinking, okay, so we're going to see Deathstroke break into Arkham and break Lex out, and then we're going to have an extension scene of the whole Lex and Deathstroke meeting. I thought that was cool. There is one thing I kind of overlooked, which I have no idea why this went right over my head when I was looking at it. And it's the whole Deathstroke breaks into Arkham. There is one thing that I did not think about, which I feel like an idiot for not going to, and if this does happen, I'm gonna love it so much. You know why?
Go on.
we're going to see Joe Manganiello as Deathstroke taking on armed guards in Arkham Asylum using his guns, his sword, and probably one of the best acted fight scenes in a film. In a DC film.
I mean, I don't know that yet.
Well, no, but not gonna lie. Imagine if they did a scene similar to what happened in Arrow season 6 with the whole Deathstroke Returns arc. Like, if we had that scene and we saw that in Arkham, I would love that so much.
Yeah.
Because I've already seen a lot of people say, "Oh, Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke is 10 out of 10, best depiction." I thought, you know what? I quite like Joe Manganiello's Joker, not Joker, Deathstroke. It's because
I don't know how you can say that though, because he's been in 10 seconds.
I think it's just the fact that he's so intimidating and he looks the part that I'm
He
thinking.
looks the part, but as an actor, I'm not so sure about Joe Manganiello. He's
Well,
obviously a night actor at worst, but still, like, I'm not sure. I don't think you can judge any of that until we've actually seen it. And that's one of the things.
Well, that's the reason why I will be judging him a lot more when the Snyder Cut comes out, because if I'm right, then the scene with Deathstroke is going to be a bit more violent and show that he is probably more violent than any other incarnation.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy about because I love everything about Deathstroke. Because you obviously know that Deathstroke is probably my favorite character. Not gonna lie, I have top 3 favorite villains from all of comic book history, and that's Deathstroke, Joker, and Black Manta.
Yeah.
I love all 3 of them. Seeing Deathstroke in the film, seeing that he has the Arkham Origins suit, which I know you haven't played the games, but I think you should. They're amazing. Like, not gonna lie, if I send you a photo and I say this is from the game, you'd be like, that generally looks like the Arkham. If I said that this is from the Arkham games, you'd be like, that looks like the one from the film.
I've seen the suit from the Arkham games. I'm alright with it. It's a good suit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they could ever pick like a better costume because he generally has such an iconic costume from that series. Like, if you show that someone, be like, yeah, that's Deathstroke.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I don't know. I just really love everything to do with Deathstroke, and once I hear something like that, I get really happy and hyped, and I think this could be a spark that, like, if a lot of people talk more about it and show that that Joe Manganiello has a lot more depth and he can play the character really good by doing like more physicality and acting out the scenes, then the Deathstroke film will be picked up, and if so, I'll be happy.
No, I don't think the Snyder Cut will get anything picked up. I don't think the Snyder Cut had any impact over DC's future whatsoever.
Actually, I've read something today that HBO has said that because they're going to be collaborating with Zack Snyder, that they want him to that they're in conversation with Warner Brothers so that they can let him produce like different productions to do with Zack Snyder's vision of DC, and obviously they'd have to
bloody hope not.
No, as in like they would have to pick a character, and he would have to say what the idea is, and if they don't like the idea, then they'll not want it, but they would possibly bring down like other like directors to come in and be like, oh, so this is an idea. How would you turn it into something better?
Yeah, I'm still not sure. I don't want anything of Snyder's anywhere near DC. I can't stand anything he's done so far, and I really don't want. I want this to be it, and I think it will be. I think the Snyder Cut will be it. I don't think there's anything else.
Well, here's the interesting. Okay, so I'm going to ask you this, and I want you to be honest. Out of the Snyder Cut and the Ayer Cut, which one would you rather see the most?
Ayer Cut.
You would rather see the Ayer
I don't know. I think the Ayer Cut would actually be a good film. I think the Snyder Cut is more interesting.
Like, not gonna lie, it's difficult for me because both have a character in it that that I'd love to see more scenes of them in. Like obviously, Justice League has got more scenes of Deathstroke, and the Air Cut has got more scenes of Joker. Because you know my opinion on Joker from David Ayer's vision. Obviously, I like Jared Leto as Joker. I do agree that he has gone a bit too far with a lot of the shit he's done, but I think like given a lot more of a better direction, he will be. I think he could actually be a very good version of the Joker.
I think that the actor has the potential. The thing with the haircut, though, David Ayer had a lot of power up until the editing, and I believe David Ayer, as long as it's not as bad as Bright, it can actually go down pretty well. However, Snyder, none of his DC films were particularly well liked, or not incredibly well liked. Like they have their fans, but none of them made the money DC needed. And I just don't think it'll be good. I don't think Snyder has a particularly good vision.
It's because obviously these films have obviously introduced characters that are quite that like a lot of people want to see. So they've introduced Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Joker, Harley, Deadshot. They've introduced all these characters that people have always wanted to see in a film, and with a lot of them, the interesting thing is like production can always go a bit weird sometimes, and it gets to a point where your vision can sometimes be a bit different than what the producers or the company that owns that property wants. So, for example, in Suicide Squad, the whole plot and purpose of Birds of Prey, which is the emancipation of Harley Quinn, was meant to be Suicide Squad. So Harley Quinn's emancipation was meant to be in Suicide Squad, so her just breaking away from Joker.
I think you got the title of that film wrong. I'm pretty sure it's Harley Quinn. Oh, with some Birds of Prey. I think I'm in there somewhere. Yeah. Even though it's not the proper Birds of Prey because there's no Batgirl, but hey.
No, there's no Batgirl. I had a conversation with someone who served me at a game shop about it, because I noticed that they were wearing like a DC shirt. I was like, "Oh, I like your shirt and everything." And I talked about films to them, and I said to them about the new Birds of Prey, and they're like, They're like, "Oh, I have one issue with it." And I was like, "Oh, is it because Batgirl or Oracle's not in it?" It's like, "Oh my gosh, you're so right. Why do people not see that?" And I'm like, "Well, it's because, not gonna lie, they wanted Harley Quinn."
Yeah, they went in for a Harley Quinn film, and they got a Harley Quinn film. My issue is them calling it Birds of Prey and giving us Harley Quinn. If they just called it Harley Quinn and sort of and hint towards the Birds of Prey filming eventually. Sure, with some of these cast members, but then I just don't call it Birds of Prey.
Because obviously, have you seen Birds of Prey?
No, I haven't.
So Birds of Prey stands out to me because obviously it has a lot of interesting things, because obviously it's probably like the John Wick film of the DC universe. So it's probably like, so it's been titled like, obviously it's like John Wick, which I'm okay with. Kind of wish that they'd given it to someone like Deadshot or Deathstroke, like, you know, like an actual assassin or hitman or mercenary.
Yeah.
And obviously, the whole point of that film was for Harley to be breaking away from the Joker and everything, which is technically what the plot of Suicide Squad was meant to be. So technically, the story in Birds of Prey was technically meant to be Suicide Squad, but it wasn't. And the interesting thing is, there are so many things about Birds of Prey that I think something is a bit strange. I like it. Something's a bit strange. Like, for instance, the main villain, Black Mask. I love Black Mask. He's probably my favorite DCEU villain. Big Bad, like the main villain of a film. He is my favorite. I generally love Ewan McGregor's version of Black Mask. He seems like a really amazing, playful version of the character.
Yeah.
It's really cool. But here's the thing: he acts quite a lot like Joker, which makes me think: did they have Joker in mind to be the main villain of this?
Yeah, that would have made a lot of sense. But
Because
DC's villain confusion has been a thing. Like, Riddler, Lex Luthor.
yeah,
I don't know what the hell Joker. And
I
now
think the
Joker,
whole the
Black
whole
Mask.
point the whole point of like Joker was meant to be like he's like obviously very much like the modern day like gangsters, like wants the highest technology, wants the money, like to do all this and that. And I would have like not gonna lie, I would have liked to have seen David Ayer's like vision come true. I'd like to see it. That's why the air cut will probably be really cool. But with Birds of Prey, Black Mask does similar like he has like those like what's it called? I can't remember what the word is, but like
Mannerisms?
yeah, so he has the same mannerisms as Joker. So like there's a scene, so spoiler warning. So this is a spoiler for Birds of Prey. There is a scene in Birds of Prey where he is being told about something and he looks like he's having a nervous breakdown. And in that scene, he fully like goes from Roman Sionis, who is like a really like self self-loving gangster, and he literally like turns into proper Black Mask, and you can see that he's literally like scratching his face, and you can see that his sanity is slowly withering away. And when he finally puts on that mask, he is properly Black Mask, and I'm thinking this is an amazing scene, but I can tell that this was meant for Joker.
Yeah, I get it.
But I still love it.
Yeah, good villain, but not good Black Mask. Not an accurate Black Mask, but a good villain nonetheless.
Not gonna lie, I think not gonna lie, like Black Mask is very much a good villain in Birds of Prey. Like obviously, I think he kind of overshines Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn in it. If I'm honest,
Thank God, no one wants Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn.
but obviously, I think it all depends on like the direction, because you can play a character as much as you want, but depending on who's behind the helm, such as like with the director. So obviously, the Harley Quinn that we got in Birds of Prey and the Harley Quinn we got in Suicide Squad are probably two different versions of the character.
Yeah.
And the fact that we got to see like two different interpretations. So we got to see the villain who doesn't really care about anyone and just wants to kill someone. And then we got the version of like takes like a young child under her wing and is more caring about the world.
Yeah.
So obviously people can interpret like which version of Harley they want. Do they like this version or that version?
I just don't like Harley Quinn.
Obviously, everyone has their own opinion. Obviously, I think it's quite interesting.
I don't like Deadpool either. I think they both just...
That's the thing. I always... Do you support the whole Harley Quinn and Deadpool shipping thing?
Ugh. No, I hate people trying to make them the focal point of each other's universe.
Oh, by the way, did you hear about who Harley Quinn's new love interest is?
No.
Do you know who it is?
Are you talking about the Harley Quinn TV show? Because then I'm on board, but...
No, not that.
Oh.
So in comics at the moment.
No, I haven't.
I've watched the Harley Quinn TV show. I haven't watched season 2 yet. I've been meaning to. I just haven't. I've watched all of season 1.
I quite like that relationship, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, but in the comics at the moment, Harley Quinn's love interest is a superhero, and this is so This is so weird because of who the hero is, and who Warner Brothers want to play him.
Yeah.
Booster Gold.
Oh,
So Booster Gold and Harley have been
that'd
getting
be more
really close to each
interesting.
other.
That'd be
And
interesting because they're really different characters. But
yeah, but guess who? Apparently Warner Brothers want to play Booster Gold.
um,
Ryan Reynolds.
not happening.
Imagine.
Yeah. Sorry. When you say guess who this company wants this to play this character, clearly that's made up. Clearly.
Well, no,
Oh,
because obviously Ryan Reynolds was in talks with was talking to Warner Brothers because they said, "Oh, we'd like to offer you a role," and they said you can either return as Green Lantern or you can be a new character.
yeah, that was just a rumor a while ago, though. I
Yeah.
don't think that's very reputable, I'll be honest.
There might be something, but obviously, if it's just a rumor, then it's just a rumor. I just found it interesting because I was looking at it thinking he would make a good Booster Gold.
I think he's a bit old for Booster Gold, though. I always see Booster Gold as early 20s.
Maybe. Because, yeah. Anyway, so the whole matter of it is with the Snyder Cut, we are going to be getting probably a story that people will think, okay, this is actually much more better than the original. I think it will have like improvements on a few different things.
Yeah.
It won't entirely be like what people want, but obviously it will be like an improvement.
I don't know. With all these films, we've really gone off topic since talking about the Snyder Cut. Is at least they'll be consistent. And that's the thing. That was the worst problem with both of these films. They just aren't consistent, scene to scene. Yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else you want to talk about while we're here? Probably got another 10 minutes left.
I'm trying to think. So, is there anything? Is there anything that you want to be in the Snyder Cut?
I want to be. It's hard to say.
So, what's one thing you think? Okay, that will make the Snyder Cut like an improvement in my eyes.
Watchable. It was all a dream. The whole DCU was a dream. It never happened. Clark wakes up on his farm, age 20, and his dad hasn't flown away in the tornado yet. And that was all a dream. Dad shouldn't have died in a tornado.
Just a whole Wizard of Oz.
I want to address my problem with his dad dying in a tornado. So in the original Superman, in Superman 79 or something like that, around that time, his father died of something Clark couldn't stop, and that taught Clark a lesson. Clark could have easily stopped his or Pa Kent whooshing off into the tornado, and therefore he didn't get the same lesson. Like, he could have just faked it, ran in, and just sort of got him out and pretended as if, oh, that's just luck, we're done. And like, it wouldn't have made a difference. He doesn't learn anything the way Pa Kent dies in Man of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
That's the end of my TED Talk. It's just a little gripe I have.
All right.
Oh, seriously though, some probably small Green Lantern stuff. I'd like to see a big Green Lantern, but hey.
To be honest, like, I want to have like a Justice League film where we have a compelling story, like characters who are like equally spread amongst the whole like film, and you can see, okay, these characters do fit in here. Like, not gonna lie, I would love to see a few different things. Like, not gonna lie, you obviously know one character I'd love to see in Justice League.
Yeah.
And that's Green Arrow.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Green Arrow. Like, if they got Charlie Hunnam to play Green Arrow, I'd be happy. But apparently, there is something that I was looking at. How, you know, that the whole Crisis on Infinite Earths thing, and we had Ezra Miller come up as the Flash in it.
Yeah.
I was thinking, what if on we got an actor from the CW shows to be like, a character in the films, and then like if we did get a crossover where like Grant Gustin's Flash appeared in the Ezra Miller Flash film, we be like, wait, why is this person here? It's like, that's not who you think it is.
Yeah.
Similar to like in the last season of Arrow. Spoiler warning if you've not seen Arrow or the last season, how we see that Adrian chases the Green Arrow on Earth 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Alright. Cool. I think that's probably all we've got time for, unless you've got one more last little thing. But if not, that's all we've got time for. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's good.
I'll
I think it's
outro.
been a good chat.
Yeah, it's been a pretty good first episode. There'll be one of these every week. Next week will probably be a news episode.
Yeah.
Unless it's as dry as this week, it will definitely be a news episode.
I think we can just obviously pick it. We can obviously discuss like what, like, if we choose, like, we could choose like 3 subjects. So like good, bad, and then just in the middle.
I think we should definitely do that format. For the news, it'll keep it concise. Good, bad, and whatever else we find that can fit into the third slot.
Indeed.
I'll probably outro this. So, au revoir, everybody. If you made it this far, you might not have. You probably didn't. Let's be real.
We're already just boring. We're just boring bastards.
We are just the most boring people. And I'm pretty sure I've had less lines in this episode than Superman had in the Joss Whedon cut of Justice League. Au revoir.
Well,
I didn't talk
not
much.
gonna lie. Like, not gonna lie, it's just like, obviously we're just I ramble on about a lot of these things. Like, if there's a subject I like, I'm just gonna ramble.
See, it was a Snyder cut, so you spoke a lot, but I'm sure we'll get to something. Well, I'm
not
gonna
gonna
ramble
lie.
on further.
Anything like DC, and like if there's something like, obviously I you know that I love DC comics. Like, I do like Marvel, but I prefer DC.
Yeah.
And obviously if it's DC related, I will probably start going on and just rambling.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it's like, not gonna lie, if it's Marvel, I will gladly like start talking about stuff, because there are things about Marvel that I like as well. Like, I quite like a few things.
I think it'll be topic dependent on how much each of us talks. Like, Star Wars, I've got so much to rant on about. But when we're talking about like the Snyder cut, like, I'm excited, but I'm not as interested as he is. So I'm not too bothered about not talking too much this time.
How are you feeling about Mandalorian season 2?
I'm not really sure. It seems a bit overstuffed, but hey,
I just want to see
wasn't
Boba
that
Fett.
bad.
I want to see Boba Fett.
I want to see Captain Rex, Ahsoka, what's her name? I can't remember her name. The one that's being played by Katie Sackhoff.
Oh yeah, Lady Bo-Katan.
No, isn't she playing her sister?
No, because Bo-Katan is obviously from the Clone Wars.
Sorry, I can't remember which sister died and which didn't.
Oh, Satine died.
Oh, Satine died. Yeah, Bo-Katan lived.
And obviously,
I'm
because
actually
she
quite
voiced her in
excited.
the TV series.
She did. I was watching quite recently the episode of Flash, the Valentine's Day episode.
Yeah.
I love how Katie Sackhoff hams it up in Flash, though. I'd like to see her actually try.
Do you know that she's actually married to Do you know that she's married to Carl Urban?
Jeez.
And you know who
Fair
Carl
play.
Urban is?
Yeah, I do. I
Yeah,
remember.
because I would love to have seen him as Batman.
Mm.
He would have been cool as Batman. But also he plays Billy Butcher in The Boys
Yeah, and he plays the Executioner in Thor Ragnarok.
as Scourge.
Yeah, the Executioner. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Look at
Anywho,
my stuff. Yeah.
I have that clip saved to my laptop.
I just not gonna lie, Scourge is like that. Like I obviously like whenever I look at Scourge, I think, Scourge, a big badass like
Puppy.
executioner.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when you see him in Thor Ragnarok, I'm thinking he's just generally someone from England.
I see in Thor Ragnarok he's a big badass looking puppy.
Yeah.
Anywho, we said bye ages ago, so bye bye.
Yeah. All right. See you guys. See you in the next episode. Bye bye.
Yeah, next week, episode 1.